Welcome back. It's art time class. Today we are going to be drawing a pumpkin. Let's get started. To begin, let's review shading and shadow. Shading is the darkening or coloring of an illustration. A shadow is a dark area or shape produced by a body coming between rays of light and a surface. So shading is this part down here where it's a little dark and it gets lighter and lighter as it comes up. And then the shadow is this part down here underneath. The shadow is what makes it look like it's touching the table. And the shading is what makes it look more three-dimensional, like it's an actual pumpkin sitting on a table. To get started, we are going to do an oval, this oval shape right here. So somewhere in the middle of your paper, you're going to draw an oval. Next, we are going to make the C shape on the side of our pumpkin. I like to do it somewhere around here. And it kind of makes a crescent shape almost. We do that twice, and then we're going to mirror what we did on this side on the other side. So when we mirror something, we're kind of doing the same, but we're flipping it. Like my hands are mirror each other. There we go. Next, we're going to add a shadow at the bottom. And we want to start somewhere down here at the bottom, touching the pumpkin, going all the way around, and then coming back around. And then you can start shading or coloring this in. When the shadow touches the object you're drawing, it makes it look like the shadow and the object are touching what it is underneath. If I draw this pumpkin and the shadow is like an oval beneath it, it would look like the pumpkin is in the air. For example, here's my finger, and you can see the shadow right here. And see how they're not quite touching, and then as my finger gets closer, that shadow touches the finger, making it look like my finger is touching the paper. Next, for the stem, you can do a square, a triangle, and a little oval, circle. It is up to you. I'm going to do a little triangle right now. Add a little extra lines to it. And I'm going to add a few extra lines to the pumpkin, and I want to go with the pumpkin's shape. It's pretty important that we always color and shade, and we want to add that shading with the shape of the pumpkin. If I was to go back and forth, it would look weird. We don't want that. We want it to look like a pumpkin. And this shading really helps give it form. Let's take a close look at that. So I'm going to be darker at the bottom, and it's going to be lighter as it goes up the pumpkin. If I have a blending stick or a piece of tissue paper, I could also blend. Some people like to use their finger. I don't recommend that because you don't just get your finger dirty, but you also leave little fingerprints all over your paper, which makes it harder to color. I can go back and make that pumpkin extra dark where it hits the shadow. If I'd like, I could add a little something back here to make it look like the pumpkin is coming around. That is up to you. On this example, I don't have that. And on this example, I do. And I made a little mistake there. It's okay. Just a little erasing. It's totally fine. Looks all right. I think that adds just a little bit of extra pumpkin shape to it. Now, how you decorate this is totally up to you. If you want to color Rainbowy, you can totally do rainbowy. You just have to have that shadow underneath, and you got to be with the direction of the object so it adds shading. Here's another example where we did grass, so little bitty lines going up, 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 up. If you want to make your pumpkin into a jack-o'-lantern, you can definitely add eyes and a mouth to it. Totally up to you. If you want to make it look like it's on a table, I can show you that right now. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, I recommend using a ruler or another pencil if you have an extra pencil. And you're going to do little bitty lines to the side. And then you're going to do another line underneath your pumpkin, and this one's going to go all the way across, and it does need to be longer than the line above. You'll see how I picked up my finger so it wouldn't create a big bump right there. Next, I'm going to connect these. So it should make a trapezoid shape. Now I'm going to add little bitty lines coming down. And I'm going to go ahead and do another line going across. If you have a ruler, that is super awesome. When you're holding a ruler, be sure you have your fingers wide across the ruler. Don't just have it at one point because then it will move. You want to have your fingers spread out wide. So you're holding the ruler down at multiple points. Next, for the legs of the table, you want to create a little bit of a lip right here. So not starting at the corner, but coming in just a little bit. You're going to do 2 parallel lines. Parallel are 2 lines that line up next to each other that would never cross. And then you're going to do another parallel line just slightly shorter. Okay, and you'll connect all of these. You're going to do the same thing on this side, but you're going to mirror it. I'm going to flip my paper over so it's easier to see. And if I had measured, let's see, this is 1, 2, a little under 3, so let's bring this over here. Measuring definitely helps if you have a ruler. Use those measuring lines. For the legs in the back, I want to make them shorter. And I don't want to start at this point. I want to go in slightly. Okay. Same with this back leg. Awesome job here. Now to give the table some texture, I'm going to add a wood grain. And I want the wood grain to line up with the table. So as I'm adding it, the wood grain is going to slightly change direction. Let me practice on the leg. And a wood grain is just a light wiggly line with a few bumps and circles mixed in. Let's take a close look at that. So here I'll do it on the table up here at the top. And I will wiggle a line coming down. It's fairly light. And at some points I'll have like a bigger opening and I'll just put a little dot, a little circle in there. It's almost like zebra stripes. And as I come across the table, my line is going to straighten out. And it kind of disappears where the shadow is because it's so dark you can't see right there. And it's going to come to this. Side over here. There we go. Ooh, this is looking wonderful. If you want to add a shadow under the table, definitely go for it. You can also shade this part of the table here. You could shade right here on the leg. It is up to you how much shading and shadows you add. You must add the shadow under the pumpkin, and you must add some shading on the pumpkin. But if you want to do more, definitely go for it. I can't wait to see what you guys create in the classroom. Till next time, keep being creative.